Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of That's the Way the Cookie Crumbles recipe segment. We're at the studio of the kitchen table here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and glad to be here. It's a wonderful facility with lots of things to buy for your cooking needs. Hannah's going to help me a little bit today here. My daughter, Hannah Flathau, she's going to help, and we're going to make creamy lemon Parmesan chicken piccata. So that's a mouthful. I made it one time before and it's delicious, so hopefully I don't mess it up and you guys can maybe learn. It's a little bit more intricate than what we normally do. It's not as simple, but it's not hard. So what we're going to start out first with is I've got flour that's already been, it's about a cup, and it's already been seasoned with salt and pepper. So just regular flour. We're going to dredge the chicken. I have not salted the chicken. We're going to have 8 chicken breasts, and oh, no, wait a minute. Parmesan cheese. This is very important, and I'll show you why in just a second. So we'll mix that up. Okay. And if you put that pot back over the pan, that's a Heritage Sauteuse pan, Kennard told me, and they're in Cookeville, Tennessee. So you got the heat on. There we go. We got some fire. We're going to go medium. Once that heats up, it's going to not take long. We're going to saute these. Then we're going to come and make the sauce. After that is over. It doesn't have to go in the oven. I'm saying 25-30 minutes at the most to do this. I made it, but I didn't taste it. Other people did, and they said it was excellent. I really liked the way it looked. So we've got all our other ingredients. Of course, it takes Parmesan cheese, garlic, olive oil, and we're using the olive oil here, Shoreline. So this is what we use. Kennard sells this. It's fantastic. It's the real deal. If you're an olive oil aficionado, that's what you want. So you can get your olive oil here and many other things, not just pots and pans and Epicurean cutting boards. Beautiful knives, but you can get also your olive oil, peppers, seasonings. What else, Kennard?
Oh, the list goes on and on, Jeff. It's just a world of merchandise to be had here.
Okay, so that's done. I'm going to take the glove off. This is ready. So we're going to put our chicken in and saute. Already smells good. You want to make sure you get some of that Parmesan on top of that chicken, and I'll show you why in a minute. What I did, I used 6-ounce chicken breasts, and I cut them in half. So 7, 8. So there's 8. So we had 4. Now that you're just gonna have to throw away, because just hold on for a second. You want to throw that away because it's got cheese in it and you can't save it, so you can't dredge, you can't sift it and use it again. So we're gonna lightly, let me make sure we have the heat on good. We're just gonna saute those. Once they're cooked, we're gonna put them on it says a hot plate, kind of keep them warm. You can always cover it with foil, because we're gonna come back and make the sauce after we get these chicken breasts out. And then we'll add the sauce, and then we'll put the chicken breast back in, and then we'll garnish, and then you're ready. So I'm saying 30 minutes, and you've got a great meal that I think your family will be proud of. And it's healthy. Boneless, skinless chicken breast. We've got capers, garlic, chicken broth, a little cream, only 1/2 cup for the whole recipe. And then the seasoning that goes in the flour is just salt and pepper. You can get the great pepper here and salt with Kennard. But all these things, a lot of these things you've got in your cupboard already. So, and probably See how you see the cheese, the Parmesan? So that's what you get the effect on the cheese. It's going to get a little, you want it to stick there. Hopefully we got enough on there. See there, gives it a nice touch. Now remember, you're going to add some Parmesan cheese to the mix when we get going. After we get the chicken removed, we're going to add that. And if you need more oil, if it starts to do like that,
this one's new.
we can pour that in. It won't hurt it at all. Don't believe everything you read. But you want to have some, you got to have something under or they'll get too dark. So, there we go. You don't want to burn the chicken, but you want to get a good crust on it. We want to really cook it. It needs to be close to being all the way done. No pink in it. Because once we put it back in the sauce, it's going to simmer but not cook a lot. So, Hood?
Yes, you need one?
Yeah.
It's a little noisy.
That's okay. We'll see how the noise affects my voice. I can talk over that. It's no problem. You make sure, see that kind of got, we want to get, see that's raw, we want to get that kind of flat. Now look, you can also, if it's too thick, you can butterfly the chicken, which we could have done one of those. It'll go quicker. Or you can take a, I don't know the proper term, but a mallet, and you can flatten the chicken out with that. The heavy, it looks like a hammer almost, and just pound it a little bit. Put a little bit of saran wrap over so it doesn't splatter. Pound that, and then it'll flatten the chicken, and the cook time will be quicker. I like it a little thicker myself. I just kind of like that texture. Sometimes if it's too thin, then it dries out. The less you cut it, the better. That does it. There we go. Oh yeah, now we're getting there. Doing what we want. Now we're getting that nice. That's the kind of look you want on there, is that nice brown. This pan's really good. It's solid. If you use a cheap pan, it burns. It doesn't cook right. So you always want to invest if you're going to buy when you're getting married, you newlyweds, you want to get good cookware. Only buy one piece at a time. It costs more, but it'll last you the rest of your life. You get something cheap for $5, $10, $15. It's okay, but after a while it doesn't last, and it also doesn't cook properly. This is distributing the heat evenly because it's made solid. You can pick it up and tell. You can't, but I did. But you can come in here and pick it up. You see these tongs? You have to have a license to use these tongs. If you start trying to do that, you don't know what you're doing, you can't pick it up. Pop, pop. Push it in and it works. That's smelling good. So I've got my knife ready. I can tell kind of when steaks are done, but I don't know about chicken. So I'm going to come back and cut a little of the chicken, make sure we're good. We'll take the chicken, like I said, off, and then we'll start our sauce. Hopefully with everything laid out, which the producers told me I have to do, and with my assistant here today, we should knock this out, and we'll get to taste this. I'm looking forward to eating some of this. I didn't have lunch today. Now they're all browning just the way we want them. If it starts getting too dark for you, cut the heat down. This is a Wolf range. It's a good stove top. So a couple more minutes, I think we're good. And as I mentioned earlier, no oven use at all. Now, there's a little smoke. If you don't have one of these, maybe you have a small vent. The olive oil in the sauteing does create some smoke. But it's worth it. At least it better be worth it. that's getting a little dark. We don't want to get it too dark. This one is the one that was flat. Now it's getting perfect. They say life's too short to go around with bad tongs. Or the tongs? Let's take a look. Always when you're looking, find the thickest one and the one. This one's not as dark as the others. Let's see where we're at. We'll just cut into there. Yeah, we're about a minute and a half away. There's no blood. It's a little pink. The recipe calls for getting close to past the pink stage, but we're close. You don't want to take any chances with chicken. But remember, when we're going to saute the sauce, we're going to put the chicken back in there. It is going to cook for 2 or 3 or 4 more minutes. So.
Clean knife.
So we're on the countdown here. We're going to take that. The recipe calls for a hot plate. I didn't do that today, I'll tell you the truth. Now those, you know, you don't have to have the sauce. What I'm going to do now, they're probably good to eat without. I'm going to cut that off for a second. I'm going to have to add some more oil. So what I've got to have now is a little olive oil. And so I'm going to use this. So we've got the pan is hot. Okay, about 2 tablespoons. Spread that around a little bit. There's no need to spray any Pam or anything like that. Okay, so next we're going with the garlic. So it's 2 tablespoons of garlic. Okay, so. There you go. So we got the garlic. We're going to let it go for about a minute at the most. I think we're good. There you go. Yeah. Just use the oil liberally. Alright. So next, we come in. So the chicken broth is coming. So we've got a cup. Let that garlic get soft, but it's ready. And the chicken broth also, that's 1.25 cups. So let's add that. When I first did it, it seemed to me that it was a little thin. The sauce was not as thick as I wanted it. But it worked out at the end, and I'll show you why, what I did. So this is 1/2 cup of cream. That in there.
What does your temperature need to be for this part?
So I think you're perfect. We want to be on, you know, kind of a low, because you got the cream in there. You don't want to burn it. Let's see. We'll get the rest of that garlic. It's not going to hurt it. They want you to brown the garlic, but this is minced garlic. You can use fresh garlic. I mean, you can make, you know, get your own garlic if you want. But this was already minced and prepared. I just like using that. It lasts forever, and it's a good product. We got to let that simmer for a minute. And then we're going to have 1/3 cup of the cheese. Again, like I said earlier, I actually put more cheese last time. We may add a little extra cheese. So we're simmering it gently. We're going to let it get a little heat going. You see how that's simmering? So you see it's bubbling? It's not burling, but it's bubbling. So we're simmering. You've got the remnants of the chicken that was cooked on the outside in there, kind of little crusty pieces. It's not going to hurt at all. This is almost like a gravy or a sauce that it's going to sit in here shortly. So let's add some Parmesan. And look, I like cheese. Let's add a little bit more. Then we got our capers. Now, some people don't like capers. Look, if you don't like capers, don't put it in there. You don't have to. You can add black olives or anything else. You can always alter these recipes to what you want. Tomatoes, something else if you like that. You don't have to do what it says. But now, I love capers. So this is 2 tablespoons already ready to go. We're going to cook that down a little bit. So if you think, and let's look at the sauce. Let me try to grab a little bit. So to me it's a little runny. So what we're going to do in a couple of seconds, we're going to add what Tyler prepared here. This is a teaspoon of cornstarch and a tablespoon of water mixed. So that'll tighten up any kind of sauces that you have, whatever you're doing, gravies, things like that. So you can always keep that in mind. For this little bit, that's all you need. You may not even need but half of it. We're going to let that simmer a little bit more, and then we've got everything in there. We will need lemon juice from the pantry. It's smelling good. It's getting there. Oh yeah, it's got that good. What makes it to me is the capers and even the little juice of the capers, and then also the capers themselves. You're not eating them whole and raw. I mean, just capers. So live a little bit and go with the capers. Don't be scared. Most people don't like capers. I don't know. I love them. All right. So what I'm gonna do here is, what we really need is a little whip. So we're gonna pour that in the center, and we're gonna whip that up. See how it spreads? Now it's tightening. You can feel it already. We add our lemon juice, which is 3 tablespoons. So 1, 2, 3. I know I didn't use a tablespoon. You can feel your way through that. So let's get our chicken. We're going to put them back in. If you've gotten busy with something while we've been doing this, remember this is creamy lemon Parmesan chicken piccata. 5 words. I know that's a lot, but if you leave the capers out, then we have to call it something else. So I think we got to leave the capers in at this point. And let me just test that sauce again. It's about right where we want it. It's not thick like a gravy, but it's not runny like water. And I think what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to put it on this plate to serve it. I'm going to let it go another couple of seconds just to make sure that chicken. You want to keep that side. I like to keep that side, when I was doing it the first time, visibly sauteed looking, not doused in the sauce. You'll have the sauce to dip it in if you want. But you see how that's simmering now? So that's cooking it a little bit more. You see the capers in there, and the capers, as they cook, give off a nice fragrant, just a good bouquet of smell, fragrance. It's nice. I think we're good here, so we're just going to put them back on this plate that we already used. If I can arrange it in a nice symmetrical order. Now we're cooking with gas. So I'm going to try not to get it all over the chicken. I don't want to, yeah. I'm getting the cracks there. But there. Now, get you some fresh parsley. Don't chop it. Really just use this as a garnish for it. And then get you a couple of 3 lemons. Put on there for a nice look. And what can I say? We're going to dive into this in a second, but I think really, now if we cut this and it's raw, then we have to do this whole segment over again. So God help us if that's the case. Look at that. I mean, that is get back up there. That is perfect. So it's got that little bit of breading on there, and whoo, that's what's for dinner tonight. Bon appetit.
Almost said, is that the way the cookie crumbles?
It's a
You have one of the green beans yet? I'm gonna